Downey Jr., after a 5-year break, is returning to Marvel, but before he did that, he actually turned down Ryan Reynolds.
So Ryan Reynolds obviously has to be deported back to Canada. Once again, this is a way for the left and the right to come together, because no matter where you stand on the topic of mass deportations of illegals, we can now all agree that the moral crimes committed here by Ryan Reynolds against Justin Baldoni have amounted to...
It seems Robert Downey Jr. has made his stance clear. He's not interested in working with Ryan Reynolds anytime soon. Why? Rumors suggest it might have something to do with Ryan and Blake Lively allegedly trying to set him up in a way that echoes what reportedly happened with Justin Baldoni. Sources say Ryan approached RDJ for a cameo, but Downey wasn't having it. He backed out before things could escalate. Now, with fresh revelations about Hollywood's once-beloved golden couple, other celebrities are beginning to speak out too, one after another. Even Martha Stewart has chimed in with some pointed comments about Ryan.
Built members, what celebrities would be the most fun to hang out with?
He's probably on the list just because he covers himself up in his movies and you don't see his face. Ryan Reynolds, is he one of those? And you want to know something? He's not so funny in real life.
With RDJ apparently aligning himself with Justin Baldoni, the optics aren't looking great for Ryan and Blake. So what exactly did Downey say? And could he know more than his letting on? Insiders claim that when Ryan was putting together his dream cameo lineup for Deadpool 3, he personally reached out to Downey. That makes sense. RDJ is Hollywood royalty. Screenwriters Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick even told People they had written a scene featuring Tony Stark and Happy Hogan. Ryan pulled out all the stops, even reading the script aloud to Downey. But in the end, RDJ declined.
Returning to Marvel, but there is a scene with Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau does actually have a very big scene in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, but that scene was originally written with Robert Downey Jr. taking the main stage and Jon Favreau only being a small part of it. I even wrote the scene in 2018 just so it would make sense for Robert Downey Jr.'s character to be in there, because it does take place before the events of Avengers Infinity War. When Ryan Reynolds approached Robert Downey Jr. with the script, he said he was completely shocked he got an instant no. The reason was Robert Downey Jr. was already in talks to return as Dr. Doom, but he couldn't tell Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds said he didn't know about that until it was revealed, but now is happy for him and said he wants to fight him.
According to Wernick, Downey read the scenes and listened to Ryan's pitch. But there may have been something else at play, something vaguely referred to as this Dr. Doom thing. Still, fans aren't buying that as the whole story. Over recent months, cracks have started to form in Ryan's carefully polished nice guy persona. Don't believe it? Candace Owens claims she spoke with someone who says Ryan may have been stirring the pot between Blake and Justin from the very beginning.
To her story, saying she spoke to a source that claims Ryan Reynolds is the problem. She said the tip came from someone who allegedly worked on the set and said lately everyone is bashing Blake Lively, but apparently the true villain of the saga is Ryan. This person is alleging that everything started when Ryan Reynolds decided to stroll onto the movie set one day and review the dailies. This is an industry term for all the footage that they filmed for the day. And he also decided to take a look at the script, and between the two, something allegedly set him off. This person claims that the production assistants then overheard Ryan and Blake having an argument in her trailer. Ryan Reynolds started being on the set on a regular basis as if he were her chaperone, and that is when he started inserting himself into the actual production, including writing lines. And then she says the next part was alleged in their lawsuits that Ryan and Blake, perhaps in response to her husband's anger, began inserting themselves in the effort to change lines and change scenes. And of course, the allegation that Ryan Reynolds was making fun of Justin Baldoni in his movie when he played the character Nice Pool. And we did hear this, I believe, from Justin's lawsuit, but correct me if I'm wrong, but she also says that allegedly Ryan presented an ultimatum to WME, the biggest talent agency in Hollywood, whose client roster include everyone from Taylor Swift to Justin Baldoni. Basically saying that it's us or him. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is what Justin Baldoni also alleged. And I think he said it happened either at the premiere of It Ends With Us or the premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine. Obviously, she says we know what happens next. He gets dropped by WME. Wayfarer Studios had effectively been instantly blackballed, persona non grata in Hollywood instantly, and truly they had done nothing wrong but cast a woman into one of their movies with an allegedly very jealous husband. My source says that Justin Baldoni is legitimately a good guy who truly wanted to do this project, but he cares deeply about women issues. And she goes on to give what she believes. She says, I think Blake was fine with everything in the movie she signed on for, hence not requesting an intimacy coordinator, and then all that changed the day her husband showed up on set and allegedly blew a fuse. She also believes that it was probably him that demanded Justin be put in the...
And Candace isn't just speculating. Justin's lawsuit reportedly backs up some of her claims. Court documents allege that during the Deadpool and Wolverine afterparty on July 22, 2024, Reynolds approached a senior executive from WME and criticized Baldoni, even suggesting the agency was standing behind someone problematic. Now, the guest list from that premiere is under renewed scrutiny, with insiders raising serious questions about who was there and why.
If he wants to go after you, he infests himself into every area of your life. And he did this Justin Baldoni. He's like, who are your friends, okay? Who owns the production company? Who owns the next movie script? I am going to infest myself everywhere. I'm gonna be doing your movie premiere. I'm gonna be doing promos and making fun of you, right? I'm gonna put myself in the end credits. Like, this is like psychotic.
At first glance, Martha Stewart's jab at Ryan Reynolds might have seemed like lighthearted teasing about his sense of humor. But many online aren't laughing, they're reading between the lines. Some believe her comment was a subtle shot at something deeper. The theory: Ryan's charming, lovable image might just be a carefully curated front, one that hides what insiders describe as serious control issues. It sounds intense, but it starts to track when you look at how he's treated some of his co-stars.
Built members, what celebrities would be the most fun to hang out with?
He's probably on the list just because he covers himself up in his movies and you don't see his face. Ryan Reynolds, is he one of those? And you want to know something? He's not so funny in real life.
Really?
No, he's not so funny. He's very serious. No, Taylor, then I would do Snoop, and then I would take Ryan off it, and I would put in somebody else.
I'm so surprised that Ryan Reynolds isn't funny. This is like a shocker to me. I see him
he's a good
walking up
actor.
and down our
He can act
neighborhood
funny.
all the time.
He can act funny. But he isn't funny. Maybe he can get to be funny again.
I'm so disappointed, actually.
I'm gonna get.
Take Morena Baccarin, for instance. She played Vanessa in the first Deadpool and quickly became a fan favorite. Yet her role in the sequels was noticeably reduced. While Morena never directly called Ryan out, she did share her disappointment over her limited screen time, saying, "I can understand that people felt that way, and I certainly was disappointed that I didn't have more to do because I just loved the part so much. But in watching the film and reading the script, it felt like such an emotionally pivotal role, so it felt like I was still very involved, just with fewer scenes." Gracious words, but behind the scenes, sources paint a different picture. Apparently, Ryan pulled what some are calling a Justin Baldoni move, limiting Morena's involvement in press events and subtly pushing her out of the spotlight during the sequel's promotional cycle.
News! It's all coming out in the wash. So Blake Lively, what she did to Justin Baldoni, guess what? She learned it from Ryan. Ryan Reynolds did the same thing to Marina, her last name is Baccarin, who also was in Deadpool. You remember when she made Justin Baldoni go sit in the basement with his family for the movie premiere? Ryan Reynolds did the same thing to Marina and her family. He did not allow her to be part of any of the movie's premieres for Deadpool.
What makes it worse? Morena was reportedly this close to having a much bigger role in the Deadpool franchise going forward. But Ryan, he wasn't on board. Insiders say creative tension grew between him and the director, with Ryan ultimately getting the final say. The result? Morena was pushed aside, despite her character being a major emotional anchor in the original film. With more whispers surfacing and more celebrities beginning to speak out, Ryan's once impeccable reputation is starting to show some serious cracks. The question now: who else is ready to break the silence?
A little bit more, and the director of Deadpool, Tim Miller, did this interview and said that he left the Deadpool franchise because of Ryan Reynolds. He said it became clear that Ryan wanted to be in control of the franchise. You can work that way as a director quite successfully, but I can't. I don't mind having a debate, but if I can't win, I don't want to play. And I don't think you can negotiate every creative decision. There's too many to make. So Ryan's the face of the franchise, so if he decides that he wants to control it, then he's going to control it. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Morena Baccarin isn't the only one who felt sidelined by Ryan Reynolds. T.J. Miller, who played Weasel in the first two Deadpool films, has also spoken out about his experience, and it wasn't pretty. During a 2022 episode of the Adam Carolla Show podcast, Miller opened up about the toxic dynamic on set, particularly with Ryan. "He was horrifically mean to me, like I was actually Weasel," Miller said. He said things like, "You know what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you deliver just enough exposition to be funny. Then we can get back to the real movie." For Miller, the experience was demeaning enough that no paycheck, no matter how big, could convince him to come back for Deadpool 3.
After he got super famous from the first Deadpool, then he, yeah, things kind of changed. I think he was like, see, you guys see. And then I think I don't know. I mean, would I work with him again? No.
No.
I would not work with him
That
again.
much vitriol.
But I've said that about Michael Bay, and now we're friends, and I would work with him again. But I think Michael Bay is different. And Michael Bay worked on a movie with Ryan Reynolds also. And so he has a very specific opinion
That may mirror
of
your
Ryan
own.
Reynolds. And that was a good part of our last conversation with me and Bay. But I sort of wish him well because he's so good at Deadpool. And I think it's weird that he
So what was really going on between TJ and Ryan? According to Miller, it all came down to ego. He claimed that fame had changed Ryan, and not for the better. Behind the confident, easygoing persona that fans adore, Miller saw something else, a deeply insecure man who seemed to assert control by putting others down. It's a pattern that, according to insiders, has surfaced more than once, and it's becoming harder to ignore as more people speak out.
Felt it coming from him.
Everybody did. That's why it was awkward. Everybody was like, why is Ryan doing this? And the other weird thing is like, maybe he got, I think he's kind of an insecure dude. He's really nice, but I mean, his Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that tested the best in focus groups. And I'm not sure that he's joking. I think that might actually be his real sentiment.
And it's not just Ryan. Rumors are swirling that Blake Lively, too, has a reputation for being difficult behind the scenes. Hollywood whispers suggest she can be a total control freak, something that's reportedly made working with her challenging for some co-stars. Take her relationship with Anna Kendrick, for instance. The two starred together in A Simple Favor back in 2018, and while they are reuniting for the sequel, not everyone's convinced it was a happy reunion. Fans have noted some subtle tension, and many believe Anna wasn't exactly thrilled to be returning to set with Blake.
What does it mean to be back with Anna? Oh, it's the best. I'm so happy. Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again? Oh, we're talking about you all day. Oh my God. Oh, come on. Get it in selfie.
Fans have definitely picked up on the tension. Anna Kendrick has been notably careful to avoid mentioning Blake Lively in recent interviews, and insiders say it's not just coincidence. There's a gigantic pink elephant in the room that no one is acknowledging, said one source. The backlash surrounding the sequel's early promo has been fierce, with some fans refusing to support the film altogether, fueled by rumors of behind-the-scenes drama. According to another insider, these movies are really the only thing Anna and Blake have in common. They're co-workers, not friends. Reportedly, Anna is doing everything she can to keep her distance. The original plan was for both stars to promote the sequel side by side, but that's changed. Studio XX are now scrambling after Anna made it clear she prefers to do promo solo. Why? She doesn't want to be dragged into questions about Blake's ongoing legal issues, or the Blake versus Baldoni drama. Blake, meanwhile, is still under contract for press appearances, but sources say she's been given more flexibility. Aside from her SXSW appearance, her promotional involvement will be minimal. But here's where it gets really messy. Insiders claim the tension isn't just about external controversies. The real issue is control. Much like Ryan, Blake reportedly has a reputation for being a control freak. Even though Anna is, by many measures, the biggest star, she wasn't given top billing on the film, allegedly because Blake wouldn't allow it. If you're wondering whether that's true, just take a look at the poster. It says a lot, without saying a word.
Something, and I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I just noticed that for the new A Simple Favor, I've been calling it A Simple Favor 2. It's supposed to be another Simple Favor with starring Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. When I was looking at it, I noticed, and if you look at the poster, Blake Lively's name is like sitting up higher than Anna Kendrick's, but it's like off to the side up high. It doesn't make any sense. It looks so weird, but it's weird. Anna Kendrick's name is first. Hers is higher.
With all these stories emerging, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are quickly earning a reputation as two of Hollywood's most difficult stars to work with. So really, is it any surprise that Robert Downey Jr. reportedly wanted nothing to do with them? Can you blame him? But here's the bigger question. Was it Ryan's behavior behind the scenes that drove RDJ away? And with mounting tension, multiple lawsuits, and a growing list of fractured relationships with co-stars, how exactly do Ryan and Blake plan to recover from this? Drop your thoughts in the comments.